Hello everyone. In this video tutorial, we will discuss about the essential whole, that is androecium. So here, the androecium is considered as the third whole of a flower. So usually four whorls are present in a complete flower, that is calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So this third whole of a flower, of a complete flower or a bisexual flower, we call it as a androecium, and which is one of the essential whole of a flower. So why we are calling it as a essential? Because it is bearing the reproductive structure, that is a male reproductive structure, whereas a gynoecium is considered as a female reproductive structure. The reproduction is actually taking place with the help of these two reproductive structures in the flower. That's why we are considering them as the essential. And this wall will contain the structures called as sporophylls. The meaning of the sporophyll is the structures which can able to produce the spores. So what type of spores are produced? Here, these androecium is actually made up of a individual structures called as stamens. I think you heard the names of anther, filament, connective. So these stamens are the individual structures of the androecium, and these are also called as microsporophylls. The microsporophyll is a the male reproductive organ. So androecium is a male part, so gynoecium is a female part. The male reproductive organ of a flower, we call it as a androecium, which contains the stamens or microsporophylls. So this stamen or microsporophyll will actually contain the three major parts. The stack type of structure, we call it as a filament, and the lobe type of structure, we call it as anther. And these two are actually connected. The two lobes of the anther are connected by a type of tissue, we call it as a connective. So anther, filament and connective are the three parts of this stamen. So if you're just drawing it, it will have a lobe. So this lobe is of the anther, and this tag type of structure is a filament. Here you can find the connective. So let us discuss briefly about these two. The anther is a lobe type of structure, and this filament is a stag-like structure connective, which is connecting the lobes of the anther. So this is a one lobe, this is another lobe. Those two lobes will be connected by a connective. So we have the two types of anthers based on their lobes. One is of monothecous type, other one is a dithecous type. The anthers are of two types, monothecous and dithecous, based on the lobes which are present. Suppose if you are just dissecting this anther, if you are going for the transverse section, you can actually find this type of structures in it, a butterfly shaped structure. So if you are just making into the two equal halves, this half part is like a one lobe, and another half of the part is the another lobe. So this lobe is also called as a theca. If one lobe is there, that is monothecous. If two lobes are there, that is dithecous. Each lobe will actually contain the sac type of structures. These sacs are called as the pollen sacs or pollen chambers. So each chamber, we call it as pollen sac or pollen chamber, where actually the pollen grains are produced. Or there is a other name, we also call it as microsporangia. A sac type of structure which hold the microspores, we call it as a microsporangia. Now, one lobe is containing the two chambers. One theca containing two chambers. So, two theca will be containing the total of four chambers. So, monothecous anther will contain the two lobes, whereas the dithecous anther will contain the four lobes. So, this condition, the four chambers are there. So, those are tetrasporangiate, and these are of bisporangiate. Now, the main function of this pollen sac is all the pollen grains will be produced in the very huge amount in this pollen sacs. Once all the pollen grains are released, or once all they are produced in these chambers, these anther walls are going to break and all the pollen grains will be released out. So that process we call it as the dehiscence. The dehiscence of anther, all the anther wall is going to break and all the pollen grains are released from the pollen chambers. We call it as a dehiscence of the anther. Now, some of the anthers are there, they cannot even produce the fertile pollen. Usually, the pollen sac is containing the pollen grains, which are the male gametes. So, these male gametes should be fertile to fuse with the female gamete during the fertilization process. But some stamens are there, they cannot even produce the fertile pollen. Those stamens are called as the sterile stamens. So, the sterile stamens or the one, they will produce the pollen, but they are of not the fertile type. So, they do not develop any fertile pollen. Those are called as the sterile stamens or also called as staminode. So, the staminode where the stamens, they do not develop any fertile pollen, right? Now, these pollen these stamens will be in a free condition, fused condition. Let us see what are the terms we can use it here. If all the stamens are free, like all the filament, anther, connective, if all the stamens are free, then we use the word polyandrous. Remember, poly means free, androus means related to andrecium. So if all the stamens are free in that andrecium, that condition we call it as a polyandrous condition. And we can find even the united stamens also. The stamens will be fused or they will be joined. So these are of the two cases again. Either the stamens may attach to the petals. Petals are the individual parts of the corolla. Then that condition we call it as epipetalous. So the stamens are attached to this or united to this petals, we call it as a epipetalous. Or in another condition, the stamens will be attached to the perianth. So we know this, the perianth where you cannot see the distinct uh, sepals and or the petals, or you cannot even differentiate whether it is a calyx or corolla, then the stamens are you add to this perianth or they will be fused with this perianth. Then that condition we call it as epiphyllous. So epipetalous with the petals, epiphyllous with the perianth. So there are the examples. You can find this epipetalous condition in the case of brinjal and the epiphyllous condition in the case of lily. Now, this is just the introduction for this. Now we have the conditions of these stamens. So now the stamens are maybe in a united condition or like a free condition as we discussed here. Suppose if all the stamens are united like a one bunch or like a one bundle, though that condition we call it as a monodelphous condition. So here Adelphi. So what is meant by Adelphi is all the stamens are united only at the filaments and they will leave all the anthers free. Suppose this is a one stamen, this is a another stamen, and this is a another stamen. So suppose if the stamens are there in this way, what is Adelphus condition? In the stamens, it will be containing the two parts. One is the anther, the lobe type of structure, and the slender type of stack-like structure we call it as a filament. So Adelphi is a condition where the stamens are united only at the filaments. All the filaments are fused and all the anthers will be left free. That condition we call it as a Adelphus condition. Based on that, we are discussing the different types of anthers or different types of stamens. So here monodelphous, monoadelphous or monodelphous condition. So in this case, mono means single, whereas adelphus means all the filaments are fused, anthers are free. So in this monodelphous condition, all the filaments are going to fuse into the one bundle. Suppose this is a one filament, another filament, another filament. So all the filaments are just keep on fusing and they are just forming like a one bundle, and that is forming a tube type of structure, we call it as the staminal tube. So how this one bundle or one bunch is formed? Because of the fused filaments. All the filaments are fused. And what is this Adolphus condition as we discussed? Though the filaments are fused, the anthers are left free, right? So you can find the anthers separately where all the filaments are fused here. So these are the free anthers, and here all the filaments are fused, and this fused filaments, as they are forming a tube type of structure, that tube type of structure we call it as staminal tube, where all the stamens parts or all the filament parts of the stamen are fused and they are forming it, we call it as the staminal tube. You can find this condition in the case of hibiscus or the China rose. So this monodelphous condition can be seen in hibiscus or China rose. So this condition, like where all the filaments are fused to form a one bundle, one single bundle or like a one bunch, and it is leaving all the anthers free. That condition is the monodelphous condition. So we have another condition, that is diadelphous. In this diadelphous condition, di is nothing but two. Adelphous, where the filaments are fused, anthers are free. So in this case, all the filaments are fused to form the two bundles. Whatever the filaments are there, as we are discussing the Adolphus condition, all the filaments are fused and leaving the anthers free, and all these fused filaments are forming the two bundles where you can find the free anthers. Now let us take, suppose anthers are of like 10 stamens are there. In this case, 9 stamens are in a united condition. So all the 9 are united and they are forming a one bundle, and remaining one stamen will be there, that is setting the free. Suppose let us see, which can be seen in the case of garden pea plants or the Pisum sativum. So there are all the 9 stamen, the filaments are fused. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So all the 9 filament part of this stamen are actually fused and forming a one bundle. So this is a one bundle. And here there is a separate one free stamen, and that is of another bundle. So where you can see this type of condition is called as a diadelphous condition. So here only the filaments are fused but the anthers are free. 7, 8, 9. So all the 9 here and one is a here. So this can be seen in the garden pea or the Pisum sativum. This condition is called as a diadelphous condition. There is another condition, that is polydelphous condition. In this polydelphous type of stamens, all the filaments are fused to form many bundles. In monodelphous, the single bundle can be seen. In didelphous, two bundles are seen. In polydelphous, you can find the many bundle of these stamens. Suppose there is a part like all these filaments, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the filaments are fused and it is forming a one bundle. So here again another bundle because of the fused filaments, and here another bundle. All the filaments are fused. Here another. So whenever all the filaments are fused, what is the fate of these anthers? You can find the free anthers here. So here this is a fused filaments. This is which is forming a one bundle. So this whole one is a one bundle, and here also you can find the fused filaments. This is another bundle. Let us say this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So different bundles are there. Though the filaments are fused, as we discussed in a Adolphus condition, it is setting all the anthers in a free condition. So this condition we call it as a polydelphous condition, can be seen in the most of the citrus fruits. Now we have another case. We can find the variation in the length of these filaments within the same flower. Suppose there is a flowers of mustard and salvia. In these two plants, where you can find the differences in the length of these filaments. Suppose when they are just arranged on this, they may be of this shorter length, so they are just, yeah, in this way. So some may be of the longer one. So you can find the differences in their length. It doesn't mean that all the anthers, like all the filaments, should be of the uh, at a same position or at the same alignment. You can find the differences even in their length also. So in this mustard and salvia, you can find the variations in their length, so which are arranged in the flower. So in the next coming video, we are going to discuss the gynoecium part.